Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or over in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
It's like a rectal thermometer. You got to use as directed. So,
I had to drink extra coffee to get that done.
Daddy, why does this taste funny? Anyway, welcome to this week's episode of Stay Off My Lawn. It's November 18th, 2025, and this is episode number 142.
Yes, and we are full of it today. Well, the news, not the other is an implied incident.
Yeah, so it's still factual, but yes, it's implied.
It's just implied. But yeah, oh my Lord, the news just in the last 3-4 days is like, yesterday I started going through, well, that's different. Well, that's new. Why is everybody talking about this? And I tried to read it. It's like, I would have just been a chair potato all day if I would have. I went through as much until it's like, okay, I got to put it, no more.
My plan was to go through and get a couple of news stories on Sunday put together for the podcast, and then I didn't get to it, and thankfully I didn't, because those things kind of fell by the wayside because yesterday everything exploded.
I know. Yeah. It's like the one football game I was watching was kind of boring, so I was looking at stuff and went, what happened to what?
Speaking of what happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Just like in the cartoons when he falls off the cliff and you watch him and you see,
yeah,
there's not a big crash. It's just a.
Then you hear somebody in the background just going,
"What a maroon! What an ignoramus!"
Yeah, and there could be some of that. Yeah. She's kind of lost her way a little bit. We were listening to there's another great podcast out there. I hate to send you to a different podcast, but it's called The Chicks on the Right, and they are fantastic. They are wonderful young ladies that do a remote podcast like we do. I think one's in Indiana, the other's in South Carolina.
I thought one of them was in Texas. I could be. I don't remember, so I'm staying out.
It's been a while, so I don't remember either. But I think they were both in Indiana at a radio station to begin with. But one of them might be in Texas now. I'm not. I think they both did move. But anyway, they were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, how her whole demeanor has changed. I mean, ever since she has kind of like criticized Trump, and Trump came back. Of course, Trump doesn't get criticized laying down, but he came back and said that, you're a traitor for not supporting me anymore or whatever. And now she's almost like this delicate flower that got her feelings hurt. And she lives about 20 miles from here. I need to go have a talk to her and
take a box of Kleenexes because,
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. Her and Jasmine Crockett are getting to be like this, according to Twitter. I mean,
yeah. Okay, according to Twitter, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, she's making her rounds on social media or on podcasts and talk shows. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. Now we did see another news story yesterday. 40% of women ages between 18 and 39 would like to leave the country if they could.
I'm going to say of those, probably next to none of them are conservative.
I would say not. Maybe those of us conservative men could pool our money and buy a one-way ticket for them. Anybody would like to do it. I heard Morocco's nice this time of year.
Yeah,
they're all beautiful.
So a lot of lovely places that people have never been out of the country or never bothered to read anything about history or everyday news of world news that's happening. They think that we're just because they've been convinced. They have been told over and over and over and over that this is because you're in America and it's so horrible that they believe that. Okay, no.
It blows my mind. Even if you go to Europe, a developed country, you go to Germany. I mean, you don't have the free speech. You don't have the First, Second, Third Amendment. You don't have the Bill of Rights over there. You have sit down and shut up, or else.
And if you don't sit down, we have ways of making you sit down. Yeah?
They've proven that many times in the past. Yes, they have.
So where were you on the night of October 15th, 19? Never mind. Anyway.
But this reminds me of the poll I saw years and years ago that if it wasn't for, and I don't know if it was exactly, but that group of ladies in the country voting, then we would have had a Republican everything, House, Senate, President since the 1950s, all Republican. If it wasn't for that group, then so I'd be willing to chip in a couple $100 for a one-way ticket.
There you go.
Tell me a place to send the money, and we will make sure that you get to where you want to go. I don't want to kick anybody out, but if you want to leave, who's making you stay?
Siberia is lovely this time of year.
Beautiful this time of year. The flowers are blooming.
All Christmassy looking.
Yes, it's Christmassy. Yes, for sure. Hey, speaking of Christmassy, today the House is supposed to be voting on the Epstein files, on the release of the Epstein files.
Boy, that blew up everywhere yesterday.
So we need to really pay attention who votes for and who's against. And we will talk about this next week for sure. I'm going to have numbers for you, hopefully, of the number of Democrats and number of Republicans that vote against it. Because, if it's anything, well, this is the House. So and I was going to say in the Senate, you can almost count on Rand Paul voting with the Democrats, which blows my mind. I don't understand where.
I don't understand where he went either. But he is just being nothing but divisive himself right now.
Right. Yeah, I still like the guy, and I still think he's extremely intelligent, but he's off the rails. It's like
he's not compromising on anything in this day and age. He's a libertarian. I get that, but he wants it all his way. And if not, why are you going over there to vote when you are going really way opposite of what you want? So.
Always like that. It's weird. Last week, Congressman Tim Burchett, I forget how he pronounces it.
He says his name, I think, at the beginning.
I think it's Burchett. Anyway, he tried to fast track this Epstein release to the House floor, and he ran into some opposition. He hit the social media and talked about it. Here he is.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC unanimous consent of tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, to cut out all this nonsense. And, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now here they've had it for 4 years, and they, obviously if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it. And now they're all, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it. So, this is politics. It has nothing to do with what's doing what's right. It's Washington, D.C. to a T. And again, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're probably not. Thank y'all for sending it.
See, I like that. He talks like a normal person. I love it.
Yep. Tried doing it, dadgummit, if they didn't. He's just another one of those that's just full of common sense and going, and the problem is, but he does a good job of using the common sense and trying to make things make sense, if you will. And this one, every single one of the Democrats voted against it. We need to have this out there. Oh, wait, you actually want to bring it to oh, no, we're not going to. No, we don't want to vote on that.
So that makes me wonder if today's going to be any different. How could it be? What changed in a week? And just like he said, if they had something on Trump, this would have been plastered in Times Square, the pictures. Now they've got these pictures, these AI generated pictures of these young girls with Trump and Epstein together. And it's like, it's obviously, they're false pictures. They're all AI. It's insane. You were talking about common sense, and this is what you and I base our podcast on. It's about common sense. We don't necessarily carry the pom-poms for the Republican Party, even though it does kind of turn out that way. Totally. I got a friend request from somebody the other day, and I honestly don't remember her name, but she has a podcast that she met She was friends with somebody by going to the University of Iowa, and they come from different ends of the political spectrum. They do a podcast together, and they talk about things from different perspectives. And from reading a little bit about what they talk about and everything, I listened to part of one episode and listened to the whole thing. But I like the way they go down. Of course, I think the conservative kind of leans a little more left than she probably portrays. But and that's what I try to tell her. I said, we do lean to the right, but really the main thing is we try to adhere to common sense and adhere to things that are reasonable. And it really just ends up being more right-minded than it is left-minded. So, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of that beast. But anyway, it's pretty neat. So I don't know, we may be able to have one of those on the podcast one day and talk to her. I'm gonna throw that line out there and see if anything, put something on the hook and see what happens. We don't like to put anybody down on stuff. I mean, we might make fun of something when it's just so ludicrous it's hard to ignore. But yeah, I want to hear what somebody else's opinion and why. And anytime, if you've ever seen any man on the street, interviews, why is it you don't like Trump? Well, he's just a bad person. Okay, but why? Where do I start?
Where do I? Oh, it's all just, well, I don't have time for this now.
You're just baiting me. Forget it. And it's like, okay.
There's no baiting. It's like, I seriously want to know.
If they stopped me on the street last year and said, what is it about Joe Biden that you don't like? I could have stood there for 20 minutes rattling things off. It wasn't just about the blowouts in his undies or anything. It was about policy, and it's about the auto pen, and it's about I had a lot of stuff.
And the inflation and anyhow, yeah, no.
We mentioned AI. Google, like most tech companies, are heavily invested in this AI stuff. Google's version is called Gemini. They have a little compact version called Gemma. I honestly had not heard about this before. I had to look all this up.
Gemma's new. Gemini, I know it's on our Google phones. We just got the latest, greatest update to Google, the One UI 8.
Okay.
So even having older phones, we have somebody that has an S25. We've got the same. So we're going to stay with it as long as you keep giving me the right software. I don't have any need to adjust.
And the way I understand Gemini is similar to ChatGPT, Grok, if you're looking at X or the old Twitter. Those are the ones I'm a little more familiar with, but we'd see it used day to day when you try to chat with customer service. I was doing that when last week with Best Buy. I was on, and finally they said, I give up. I'm going to send you to actually a real human being, which is great, is what I wanted to begin with. And they'll feebly try to resolve your problems, and it never happens.
Representative. Anyway.
That type of AI is called an LLM, or a large language model. You'll hear that in the clip I'm going to play for you here in a minute. But again, like any computer program we've heard in the last 40 years, garbage in, garbage out. And so keep that in mind when we have that clip. Marsha Blackburn, our senator from Tennessee, up just north of me, was asking one of Google's AI developers about a problem with this new Gemma program that they have, and how it can be very damaging. And this is really, really intriguing, and you need to listen closely because this is terrible. Here we go.
Let's talk about Gemma. And I want to bring up the issue of Robbie Starbuck, who lives near me in Tennessee. He's a conservative leader. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Starbuck.
I'm familiar with who he is. Yes, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm going to put some things up that Gemma did. Gemma, and the way you're training these LLM models, is not something you should be proud of, and it doesn't embody trust. Because Gemma created an entire falsehood around Mr. Starbuck, saying he had been accused of child rape. Totally false. So then we asked Gemma if Senator Blackburn had publicly defended Robbie Starbuck. And it goes on to say that I publicly and actively defended Robbie Starbuck. Now, here are the prompts that are there. And here's the response. It made up articles, and I'll be able to hand you this poster so you can see this in detail. But this is insulting that you are so biased against conservatives that you would create this entire story around Robbie Starbucks with links to stories, and this entire story around me. Totally false. All of it is false. So why don't you tell me how you are scraping data and training these LLMs that they would come up with not a 1 degree, but a 2 degree complete falsehood?
Senator, thank you for letting me clarify. The way we train our LLMs is to train on publicly available information.
It's not publicly available, sir, because it is fake news. Gemma made it up. So what are you feeding in on the training that would allow
Love her.
such this is just wild. It's fiction.
So, Senator, it's well known that LLMs will hallucinate. It's a known issue.
To shut it down.
And we do
It's
work.
on a bad drug, and the bad drug is your input.
Senator, we do work at Google very hard to mitigate those hallucinations.
Obviously not hard enough.
How in the world does a computer program hallucinate?
Well, when you've got a green pill and you've got a yellow pill, it makes blue, and you can...
Maybe there's THC involved in the people programming this? I mean,
Yeah, that's where the hallucinations are coming from. And we were talking off air about these things. Well, you can have a whole big long article and have it summarize, if you will, the article. Well, if you're looking at a conservative article and you want to know, well, what is this all about? And it tells you, I went, no, that's not how they, what? And I went through and read the article and it's like, that was a complete left-leaning summarization of stuff that really wasn't there. It put a twist on it that didn't exist.
yeah, that's incredible. The only one I think you can probably trust is the Grok version on Twitter, because that has not had a slant to it. Now, people who are on Blue Sky might think it's got a slant to it.
Well,
but I mean, it
the Blue
I don't
Sky's
trust
got a
any
slant to it. Just saying.
oh yeah, slant. I mean, it's like
Whoa!
that's where slant comes to die. Yeah, it's just. But anyway, it's AI. Don't trust it. That's all I'm saying. If you want to write an article, you write. When we were putting together, Kendra and I were putting together Gator Bite Studios. We had a program, or we had ChatGPT write up a letter that we sent to radio stations, and we modified it. We went through it, and it turned out great. So it can be useful in some situations, but phew. Yeah, you just can't trust it all. You just can't. People are no better either. They'll twist the story to fit the narrative. See,
Wow, that was a lovely segue. I love that one.
I'm telling you, I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Just like the mainstream media has done for a long time, twisting stories. Even the most earnest sounding people, they may seem like they know what they're talking about, and they do these things for clicks. And anyway, Kali Fontanilla, I don't know exactly how.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. She brought this to my attention, and here's how that went.
The dumbest take on TikTok right now.
Billie Eilish, 23 years old, just donated $11 million to help make sure Americans don't go hungry. Her net worth is $50 million. That means she gave away 22% of her net worth.
That video received 5.8 million views. Billie Eilish did not give away 22% of her personal net worth. That 11.5 million is from her tour revenue. And specifically these Changemaker tickets where her fans can buy a special, more expensive ticket. It's like $80 to $120 more. And that is where she's getting the $11.5 million. It's like when you go to the grocery store and they ask you to round up for charity. That's what Billie Eilish is doing. Was it from her personal net worth? No.
So truth doesn't matter. If it fits your narrative.
Yeah. If you want it to be yay raw, and it's like, no.
Yeah. And it's just, and as a side note, when they ask you to round up at a grocery store, my son and I were talking about this just this week. That's, if you want to give to that organization, that's great. Do it on your own. All you're doing is giving these grocery stores or department stores a tax write-off, because they'll take your money and they'll write it off.
And then they will tout that, look how much money we gave to such and such charity. Oh yeah, no, seen it all the time. And it's like, no, I've never heard them ask in our little tiny town that we go shopping at. That's never come up.
It happens to me in Lowe's. It happens at Kroger a lot. It happens.
I wouldn't trust Kroger with my money for all the tea in China.
So, hey, we are up against a break. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about the mayor-elect of Seattle and how Willy Wonka she is, and I think you're going to like it. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Kendra Rains. These two old dudes crack me up. That's why I listen to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today, we salute you, Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Designer.
Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Designer.
While lesser designers would shy away from putting 300-pound men in spandex, you embrace it.
Yes, you do.
Pushing fashion to its limits, literally. You pair tights with a cape, a leotard with a mask, leather boots with a thong.
Oh, looking good.
All understated ways of saying, I'm going to rip your head off and look fabulous doing it. So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Guy, because without you, a man crushing another man's head in his arms would just look silly.
Mr. Pro Wrestling Wardrobe Design.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Oh gosh. I think in behind the Steve behind the glass, he's been quiet here lately. He puts these things together just to make us laugh. I think
he wouldn't let us listen to this one ahead of time. What? No. What's that? Yeah, I know you've been off the bottle, and we've not heard crap from you. So, but thanks. That one was a good one.
It's been nice. I've enjoyed the quiet. Yeah. But we focused on Mom Donnie quite a bit in New York City, and really he's gonna leave a couple of blocks of C4 every square mile in New York City, seemingly. And but in other parts of the country, socialism has been kind of the norm, but they're taking it even further now. Katie Wilson, the mayor-elect of Seattle,
wait.
Oh my gosh, she's a mess. She said this recently.
Access to affordable, healthy food is a basic right. We cannot allow giant grocery chains to stomp all over our communities, close stores at will, and leave behind food deserts. Together we can build a Seattle where fresh food is for everyone, not just for those who can afford it. Food deserts are not natural. Corporations create them when they abandon our communities. As mayor, I'm excited to step up and with UFCW explore public option grocery stores to fill those gaps.
So she's taken a clip from Mom Donnie, but did you catch the language though? I mean, well, first of all, the UFCW is a labor union for retail, like grocery store clerks and store workers and stuff, meat packing, food processing people, manufacturing, hospitality, agriculture, cannabis farmers, chemical trades, security, textile, healthcare. It covers a lot of ground. They were standing behind her when you watch this video. But the language that she used was very interesting. I want you to catch this part again real quick.
We cannot allow giant grocery chains to stomp all over our communities, close stores at will, and leave behind food deserts.
So what are you going to do if a store decides to close? I want to know what your plan is.
The part she's leaving out is the store's closing because they're tired of being robbed and having people come in. That's why in all these lefty cities, you can't buy anything without somebody walking with you and standing there waiting to unlock the doors, get the stuff out, lock the door back up before you can go to the next thing you need that has to be unlocked. It's ridiculous, and that's why they're shutting the stores down. Most grocery stores are on a very thin margin. 1 to 3% that's a great year if they have 3%. So this is another idiot that doesn't know what she's talking about. He hasn't got the business sense God gave a turnip truck. And it's like, give me a break, lady. You can't just go, no, you can't shut down that store. No, sir, you got to leave that open. People it's a right to get food. Well, that's what they're doing. It's my right to go in and get food and not pay for it.
Yeah, even if you can't afford it. Well, it's exactly what she's saying. If you can't afford it, we're going to have to give it to you, or we're going to let you steal it. Because I think a lot of places on the left coast over there are you have to steal more than $1,000 to get prosecuted.
It's that way in California, and Oregon's got something similar. I don't know if it's quite that high, but Oregon, in kind of the lesser desirable side of town, if you will, 2 stores, a Walmart and I think a Fred Meyer, which is Kroger, they shut them down. They were just tired of having people coming in and taking whatever they felt like taking and just walking out.
You can't even call the cops. They won't show up.
Nope. Yeah. They go, well.
It's incredible. Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see how Seattle kind of metaphorically burns to the ground.
It's a mess. Nobody wants to go downtown anymore. It is a war zone. It is as nasty and wicked as Portland downtown is. They've taken a beautiful city and a lovely area and just destroyed it.
Oh, watching Frasier. I mean, the city is beautiful just from the viewpoint of his little loft there. It's beautiful. I mean, Seattle looks gorgeous. I've never been there.
I years ago went downtown, rode the tram rail that goes down, and you'd get off, and it was there for the expo. I've been up in the Space Needle. All that stuff was really nice. Now it is just a hellhole.
It's terrible. Hopefully they come to their senses. It doesn't seem like it, but we'll have to wait and see. More things are being revealed about the Butler, Pennsylvania shooter that killed Corey Compatore, shot Trump in the ear and injured 6 other people. New York Post reporter Miranda Devine, well, she was the one who broke the story about the Hunter laptop back in 2020.
She's the Australian?
Yeah, she's Australian.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to remember where she was from. Okay.
She had some details that the FBI recently uncovered, and here's what she had to say.
They've told us that there was actually a very large digital footprint left behind by 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, who was Donald Trump's would-be assassin last year in Butler, Pennsylvania. It's quite a different story to the one that Christopher Wray and his deputy Paula Bate told Congress just in a couple of weeks after that assassination attempt. And we were sort of led to believe that Thomas Crooks was really a ghost, that there was no motive that could be ascertained from his online accounts. And yet a source has provided us with a lot of information from 17 different online accounts that Thomas Crooks had, and they range from, Google Play to that site you referenced before called DeviantArt, which is probably the biggest or one of the biggest hubs online for this sexual fetish called furries, where people dress up or fantasize about animal characters, cartoon characters that are sort of humanized. And so it's very bizarre, but we also saw that with Charlie Kirk's killer, alleged killer Tyler Robinson, who was also involved in this bizarre furry culture. So there's not a lot that my source discovered on those lines, but there was a little bit. The fact that this guy, Thomas Crooks, was interested in this furry site, spent a lot of time there, had various images that he liked and reposted, and also gave his pronouns as they, them. But I think the more important part is what the comments, his online comments from, he was very young, 15, 16, 17, show us about how he became increasingly violent and sort of radicalized against Democrats. He was pro-Trump. And then in January of 2020, he flipped 180 degrees. Something happened to make him become rabidly anti-Trump. And again, his rhetoric took more and more of a violent turn. He started brushing up against, there was a neo-Nazi by the name, fake name probably, William Tepes, who started encouraging Crooks in more and more violent rhetoric. And then suddenly something happened in August of 2020 and he just disappeared online. Very unusual. And then, of course, in July of 2024, he fired off 8 shots from a rooftop at Donald Trump at that rally in Butler, killing Corey Comparatore, who was sitting behind Donald Trump, and badly injuring 2 other rally goers, and hitting Donald Trump in the ear. Only, by a miracle did Donald Trump not get killed that day.
So, yeah, that was a miracle. But, you have this, what is it about furry? This is something relatively new, is it not?
No, it's been around a little while. I don't get it either. I don't think it's the best of things. It's stuff that's in a lot of the Discord, playing some games and that group, and it's just it's not healthy. Let's just put it that way. And here's the other thing with, if our FBI cannot decrypt a simple cell phone to get information off it, that's what they were saying at the time as well. We can't seem to get any information off these phones. They're encrypted. Well, that's your job, for crying out loud.
Christopher Wray's FBI back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was what he said, was, we're so incompetent, we can't do this.
He was just he hated Trump, even though Trump put him in his office, I believe. But he hated Trump. And so, yeah, we're not going to bend over backwards to try to find out who tried to kill him. We're just going to try to bury it. And now, obviously, with Kash Patel in there, some of that stuff did not get shredded, and they've figured out some of this stuff. So I think there's more to come with all that.
Yeah, it's the ineptitude and not ineptitude, the blatant lies that we're told of, like, we can't decrypt it. We just don't know how. Well, you're the FBI. That's your job, for crying out loud. Just do that.
You went to school for you're used to be a black hat programmer. You know how to do it. They've hired a lot of these ex-black hat people that really know the ins and outs of computers, and it's like, you can't tell me that they didn't know. They all knew. Christopher Wray needs to be in handcuffs, if you ask me. But
yeah, well, the reason why a lot of them didn't like Trump is they were in the black group, shall we say, the shadowy group over here, and Trump don't play those games. I don't do that. I'm not one who negotiates this so you can have that. That's not right, and we're not doing it. And they're going, but that's how we've always done it. Yeah. Somebody just recently said that, was in Congress or the Senate. Oh, it was in the Senate. I think it was Schumer, because that's what we've always done. That's exactly right. And that's the problem.
Every conversation is transactional. I get something if I give you something.
You wash my hand, I'll spit on yours.
And that's how
something like that anyway.
They don't like the way Trump comes back and says, "No, I'm not taking your spit. I'll pop you in the mouth." By some estimates, speaking of transactional, the 20th narco terrorist boat from Venezuela, mostly Venezuela, has recently been blown to smithereens, which is a good thing. I know a lot of people are up in arms over this. We haven't heard too much about it, but it's continuing. Clay and Buck interviewed Senator Markwayne Mullin on that subject yesterday, and he said that onion has a lot of layers to it, so you have to listen for that.
I think it's important for us to see the big picture, and so I'll get to that in just a second, but let's talk about what your questions were. Have we seen a drop in fentanyl? Have we seen a drop in cocaine trafficking? Absolutely. And the biggest measuring stick to that is the price on the street. I know it sounds crazy, but, everything is supply and demand. We've seen a significant increase in the price of fentanyl and the price of cocaine because their shipping lanes are being cut off. The president is being very proactive on his approach rather than waiting until it gets to our shores. He has taken an approach that we're going to destroy it in international water, which has put everybody on notice because it's not just coming out of Venezuela. We saw us taking out a narco boat in the Pacific too. And so what the president is doing here, because he realizes that we've lost more Americans in 2024. We haven't got the statistics yet for 2025, but in 2024, we lost more Americans to fentanyl and other drug overdoses inside the United States than we did the entire Vietnam War. That's a staggering number because every single one of your listeners, including yourself and I, know somebody that has been affected by this drug war that has come to our hometowns, be it a small town like Westville, Oklahoma, or a large metropolitan area like Dallas-Fort Worth. It has affected all of our streets. It's affected all of our friends and family. It's affected some of us. So what the president has done is he's done a full court approach. It's not just about taking out the drug boats, the narco boats, but it's also about getting rid of their supply lines of once it gets into the United States, the distribution lines, plus the cash flowing back out to the cartels. So when the president deemed the cartels a terrorist organization, what allowed is the full way to the United States to come in. And so you see DHS, Secretary Nome and ICE going into these major metropolitan areas. A lot of people think it's just about deporting illegal immigrants, but it's not. It's also disturbing their supply lines. We see a Department of Transportation with Secretary Duffy that's doing stops inside the United States. There's as we speak, there's an operation going on in Oklahoma right now where we're stopping trucks. We're doing drug searches, but we're also arresting illegals. There's supply lines with the illegals that are coming into the United States illegally. The gangs like MS-13 and other gangs that are being used to distribute and supply different areas inside the United States. DHS is taking a hard look, so we're pushing them from the end of their supply all the way back into Venezuela, back into Mexico, back where it's going. Plus, we're being proactive with the drugs coming into the United States. So it's the first time ever that we've had a full pledge, all-out assault on the drug cartels, and we're having a huge impact.
So there's more to it. I mean, first of all, they're going to run out of people that are going to man these boats that are leaving Venezuela or wherever.
Or who want to man those boats.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, well, if there's a good chance I'm going to get shot out of the water, I'm going to be a pink mist. Is that what I want?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea there. Yeah, we had Bush's number 2, the war on drugs, and it was still coming into the country, and it was like, I don't know what war there was, but there wasn't one. And Trump's going, we're not letting it get anywhere close to the country, period. I got no problem with it. Keep blowing them out of the water. There's no reason somebody is out on the ocean in a boat that's like 50 feet long with 4 to 6 big-ass Evinrudes on the back of it and tons of fuel just going like a bat out of hell. There's no other reason for them to be out there doing that.
Something's off on that.
Yeah, if you're fishing, holy crap, you're trolling awful fast there, Homer.
I know, you better not catch anything.
Yeah.
Your arm's completely off. But yeah, I mean, we watch. It's not Live PD anymore. It's called On Patrol Live. We watch that every weekend. It's on Peacock. If you have Peacock, you have the paid version of Peacock. It's on Reels, which is one of their channels on there. But anyway, it's Dan Abrams and a couple of ex-cops or active duty cops that are on there, and they follow 8 different departments all over the country. It's on Friday and Saturday night. Barbara and I sit there and we have popcorn and we watch that. It's really fun. But the thing is, what I came away from every week, they find somebody just driving along with a broken tail light or ran a red light or whatever, that they pull over and there's fentanyl, there's cocaine or crack. There's the drug problem is so much worse than I think you and I, because we don't run in those circles. No. We don't understand. I certainly did not know that it was so prevalent, because every week they find there's at least one or two that they find that, and these are not big cities. This is Hazen County, Arkansas, or a couple of places in South Carolina, Richland County, South Carolina, or in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I guess you could maybe consider that place to have a lot of them. But I mean, these are small places, Knox County, Tennessee. So, I mean, this is not something that is just isolated to the big cities. He's right. Even his little town in Oklahoma, yep. It's everywhere. It's probably in your little town too. So
yeah, you got the big city of Boise that you got all the imports that have moved up and across and whatever, and they wanted to leave and get away from their problems, and then they bring them with them. Oh, yay. I'm so thrilled that they're here.
And the thing that bugs me is they bring their voting habits with them. Yeah. It's one thing. Look, if you don't like the way things are going, move here because things are better, because we vote differently than you. With New York emptying out because of Mamdani, I mean, it's like we're going to have to pull these people aside once we hear that New York accent in the Walmart and go, hey, just so you know, we do things differently here.
Hey, how'd you know it's from New York, huh? What turned it off, huh?
You're assuming my gender here. I don't have the he, him on my shit. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we're really going to have to educate these people why it's better here, why we have lower taxes, why we have so much industry, why we have lower crime rates. We're just going to have to talk. And same with you. You got all these Californians moving in. You're going to have to somehow get through to these people and say,
they want their free stuff, and they come up here and where's my no? And now all of a sudden we're running a deficit. And Idaho's not. We don't run it. We're supposed to balance our books, and normally we do. And right now it's a mess from all these people. There's too many moving in. There's not enough stuff moving through quick enough. You know, it's like any company that has expanded too fast. All of a sudden they're out of cash. You can go too fast, and that's what's happened here. I mean, our and it's all pretty much either in Coeur d'Alene up north or down in Boise.
Yeah, we're running on a surplus right now in Georgia, but you know, if people keep moving here, it's not going to last. Especially with this next election next year, we're going to get a new governor, and things could go off the rails very quickly. So anyway, we're up against another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Michele Obama's new book and her little tour. And she it's kind of icky. But you'll have to hear it. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Stay connected with these guys. Email at soml@duck.com or go to the website stayoffmylawn.us.
There's nothing good about fire ants. They don't pollinate your roses. They don't make cute little sounds when they rub their legs together. All they do is build a big mound in your yard and bite the hell out of anyone who gets near it. That's their sole contribution to mankind. And that's why they have to die. It's that simple. You cannot rehabilitate a fire ant. You have to kill him, his little red friends, and that big fat queen down there making more fire ants. What you need is Orthene Fire Ant Killer from Ortho. You put 1 tablespoon of Orthene over the mound, and you're done. You don't even water it in. The worker ants track it back into the mound. And here's the really good part. Everybody dies, even the queen. And while there is joy in all creatures living in harmony, it's nothing compared to killing fire ants. Now that's a rush. Orthene Fire Ant Killer from Ortho. Guaranteed to kick fire ant butt. For more fire ant decimating tips, go to ortho.com. Ortho. Defend what's yours.
Oh my gosh. You don't have those up there, do you?
No, it's too cold. They don't live in the cold. We have ants, but
here in the Southeast, I mean, it's one of those things. You find the fire ant piles sometimes when you've got headphones in, you're listening to a podcast or talk radio, and you walk right through it in your barefoot. Woohoo! That'll wake you up in a heartbeat. But yeah, that Ortho stuff, we have it. It stinks. It's like a sweet, nasty smell, but it works. You sprinkle it on there. The next day, not only are they all dead, but the mound actually compacts itself. It implodes inside. Once that fat queen dies, it's fantastic.
Well, we know some fat queens that would be anyway.
Yeah, they're reading stories to elementary school kids. Those fat queens. Oh, those are drag queens. Sorry,
It's a different name. Yeah.
Sometimes they're fat though.
Speaking of queens, what's our next article?
Our ex-queen, Michele Obama, went on a strange rant. That was great. See, we are so good, we don't even realize how good we are.
It's all the practice we do.
That's what it is. It's all our scripting. She went on a strange rant the other day promoting her new book, which her new book is called The Look. And I'm not exactly sure, but maybe it has something to do with what she says here. So here.
Now, let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act of law to tell white folks to get out our hair?
We're not in your
hair. Wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't.
Well, maybe I'm the only white person, but I've never wanted to touch or I've never even thought about her hair. I mean, I didn't even notice.
I didn't know that hairstyle kept you from swimming good. It was a total, what? What the hell did she say?
I don't know. I look more bald when I swim, but I mean, I don't care. But I mean, does anybody really care how anybody else fixes their hair?
Nope.
I might snicker if it's pink or blue or something, or if a man's got it up in a bun. I laugh at my son when he does it. So I mean, it's maybe I'm just jealous because I don't. There's nothing to bun.
Yeah, the man bun is starting to kind of wane just a bit. So
I hope so.
The sooner the better, too.
Is that not the weirdest rant, though? I mean,
wow.
I don't.
So you don't want to straighten your hair? Don't straighten your hair. I don't really care.
Yeah. I actually think it looks better when it's kind of froed out. There was a lady that I used to work with that she did different things to it, and it's like, you would notice because we're driving in a warehouse, and it either flies around, and it's like you notice. It's like, well, it looks really good, and sometimes it does. I mean, it
makes no difference to me. I could care less if it was straight, curly, kinky. I mean, my second daughter has tons of naturally curly hair. When we were living in Oregon, we'd go to the beach and her hair would just, it would just be little ringlets. They would get after my wife for saying, what are you torturing? How long were the curlers in her hair? Nope, give her a bath and she'd wrap it around her finger, pull her finger out, and it would dry and she'd have little ringlets. That's it. That's all we had to do. It was that way, so deal with it.
I'm from Southwest Florida, so we had a lot of humidity. And when I had a lot of hair, there was a lot of frizz. And really, it worked well in the 70s, but everything. Thankfully, I left in 83, and I didn't realize, and I guess I didn't think about it too much, but I didn't realize that actually it would lay flat in other parts of the country where it wasn't 95% humidity. So actually, I learned something when I moved away. But but who cares? Honestly, yeah. I never spent 1 second until just now thinking about Michele Obama's hair. Not once.
No,
I couldn't
really
even
care less. Do what you want to do. I really don't care. However you want it cut, you want it. Yeah, I've gotten bad haircuts and I went, I put a hat on, it'll grow out. I don't care.
It always grows back.
It always grows back.
There's some parts it doesn't, but
I was trying to be nice and not go there. Okay.
I'll be self-deprecating. You don't need to deprecate me or defecate me or whatever you do.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Who knew that Michele has gotten so officially exponentially weirder than she already was. It's like, what? The podcast is just, I saw little clips and went, What the hell are you talking about?
She just thinks she's being normal, and if that's
Anything
okay.
but. Let's go to a better subject. Speaking of
new
books.
Exactly. Our favorite senator by far, John Kennedy from Louisiana, just came out with a new book, and the title is fantastic. It's called "How to Test Negative for Stupid," and in parentheses, and why Washington never will. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. But he was promoting this book, and his wit is obviously nonstop. This guy is just, he could be a stand-up comedian so easily. And I heard him on Glenn Beck, and he's been on Clay and Buck, I think it is. And he's been on a few places promoting his book. But he was on this podcast called The Ruthless Podcast. And he was asked about AOC of all things.
That's
and
one of his favorite subjects.
Oh, it is. It is. Here he is talking about her.
3 weeks prior to all of this, that she made sort of an announcement on background, by the way. Somebody else was speaking for her. She couldn't do this herself, but that she's actively exploring either a run for the presidency or a primary challenge to Chuck Schumer. She hasn't decided yet. I imagine that the majority or minority leader had some attention paid to that kind of thing.
Well, look, this is America, guys. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. How can I put this? I think that the Congresswoman is single-handedly trying to put an end to dumb blonde jokes. And our attitude is, you've heard me say it before, our secret plan is Operation Let Her Speak. And Chuck, just he sees what we see.
Yeah.
But he can't seem to figure out how to defeat it.
Yeah.
Now, and look, don't misunderstand me. I like Chuck. He's a friend, but he could start if he'd stop all the spastic arm movements. He goes, I believe strongly in this. And you go, Chuck, just loosen up, man.
He needs to loosen up for sure.
Yeah, he's one of those that goes, and we're talking to you. And that's what, it's always, we're talking to you. And then the gesture comes in. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to gesture. And he's always doing this when he's speaking. And it's like, you going to punch somebody? What the hell are you talking about?
Goodness gracious. Yeah, he's a mess. But I do think he's nervous because of AOC. Most of the Democrats that are not part of the socialist mob, and I think socialism could take a little bit of a dip after you have that bozo in Seattle and a bozo in New York. Hey, let's meet in the middle and tell them to go bozo off. The problem is that mainstream media won't report on any of the calamity that either one of them cause. So maybe and
they're getting fewer and fewer viewers, and now I'm seeing MSNBC is now, it's being pushed out there as MS Now. Because please, all the people you got up on the screen are nothing but a bunch of lying boobs. Sorry.
You see, CNN is trying to start a new paid version. Remember, CNN Plus was a big flop. They closed up shop in 48
Nobody's
hours.
watching the unpaid version. What the hell would you want to watch the paid version for?
This is a version where you can see several different stories going all at once. It's sort of like the picture-in-picture NFL Sunday ticket type thing.
Because I need to watch all my liberal news in lots of different views because it's all garbage.
Poor CNN. I mean, they just can't get out of their own way.
Their feet have got to hurt miserably. They both stations have shot themselves in the foot so much that one NBC went, okay, we're left, but we're not nutsoid like these guys. We want to separate and want nothing to do with them.
Well, we talked last week. I think it was the CBS News has that new news director, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but we talked about her
with a
last
B
week.
or something.
But anyway, she seems like she's trying to take some of the crazy out, sifting some of that out, and she's trying to draw in Scott Jennings from CNN to be an anchor over there.
If he leaves CNN, they're done.
I think so. I think it'd behoove Scott to jump off that sinking ship. I'd like to see him survive and do well. But there was somebody else that they were trying to get, and I can't remember who it was. But yeah, CBS is trying to make some good changes. So hopefully,
and they've got some of the loony lefties that have, well, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm leaving. And they're not hired by anybody else. See ya. Nobody else wants them because you've ruined that station. You're not ruining ours. No.
What a podcast like the other losers. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's what a lot of the CNN people, they started podcasts. Was it Don Lemon is what Tucker Carlson calls him, Don Lemon.
Monsieur Lemon, this from the France. And his stuff is just as stupid as it was when he was CNN, if not worse. He goes out and does a man on the street. Oh, hear that jackass that's on. He gets right. I went, oh my God, cracked me up.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Ozzy Osbourne, when he passed away, I think it was about a month and a half ago, something like that.
It's not been that long, but then time flies when you're old and you can't keep track of time. It goes. I wasn't trying to go to that stage of my life just yet.
And you're having fun and you're all stocked up on Geritol and things are going well.
I don't even know if you can buy that anymore. I'm going to have to look for that just because.
It just came into my head. I have no idea.
I know.
So anyway, this is something that the family produced and put out on their social media account. Something you won't hear on the mainstream media. But here's Jack Osbourne and Ozzy's wife, Sharon.
I mean, should we play the voicemail?
Yeah.
Not saying who it's from. Everyone will know.
Hi, Sharon. It's Donald Trump, and I just wanted to wish you the best and the family. You have great. Ozzy was amazing. He was an amazing guy. I met him a few times, and I want to tell you, he was unique in every way and talented. So I just wanted to wish you the best, and it's a tough thing. I know how close you were, and whatever I can do, take care of yourself. Say hello to the family. Thanks. Bye.
Love him or hate him, he didn't have to call and leave a voicemail.
Listen, he was just a great guy to talk to, and he has always treated me with respect. Listen, I'm not American. I can't vote. I don't want to vote. I don't vote for anyone. Mm-hmm. I vote for no one. Never have, never will. But the thing is, all I know is he's treated me with respect, your father with respect. He wanted nothing from us. Nothing. No. Melania the same. Nothing. And they have been great. And for him to take his time to do that for us, and because, do you know what? He doesn't live in a bubble. He knows what's going on in the streets. He knows what is going on. And I can't say that for our Prime Minister. Again, for President Trump and Melania, thank you.
That's kind of hard to listen to when she was up there.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that. Nobody wants to talk about good things that he does. There was someone who asked him, I heard a story about you one time when you were going to some meeting and your limo broke down and we're on the side of the road, and a fella stopped and said, well, let's see if I can help these people. He found something was enough of a shade tree mechanic to, that maybe this is the issue or whatever. And he got them fixed up and they got on their way, and it was no big deal to him. You know, I've stopped to help people and it's just no big deal. But then a week later, they get a notice in the mail from their mortgage company. Thank you for paying off your mortgage. They went, what? He didn't have to do that. They didn't ask anything. He just did it.
Yeah.
And they don't want that to be out because, my God, you'll make him look good.
Exactly. They want to dehumanize him. That way, people will take shots at him, like the Butler PA guy and the and the guy at the golf course down in Florida. And it's like, you stir up so much hate for somebody, you can't humanize him. You can't make him sound like he's got a decent bone in his body. That goes against your narrative.
Well, I was out to lunch with a friend who's a real lefty, but that's okay. We still get along quite well. We've known each other almost 20 years. And he's going, oh, that stupid Trump hasn't done anything for this country. I just went, excuse me? That's watching CNN and MSNBC every day, because that's all he does.
Yeah, and if that's all you listen to, then yeah, you'll believe it. And that's why you and I will listen to different perspectives, and we kind of hear, it's like, why do we not hear what we're hearing over here? And vice versa. But it's like, what we're hearing over here is obviously true, is just false, and what we're hearing over here, it might have some falsehoods in it, but I mean, they're obviously neither side is perfect.
Nope.
And like I was telling you earlier, when we talked to that other lady that does a podcast, it's like we don't try to come at it from a Republican point of view. We try to come at it from common sense and what's reasonable. And yeah, it ends up being mostly on the right. And I guess you could categorize this like that. When we post stuff on Rumble, you have a category where it shows up in searches for Republican politics or Democrat politics. I choose Republican because that's kind of the way it lands. But I don't carry the pom-poms for anybody. It is just kind of the way that works.
If somebody's going goofy on the right side, just like today we talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's like, what the hell happened to you? And what she's doing and what she's done is like, what? How come you're way out there? And then you got
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul is another one he's supposed to be a libertarian, and because he can't get his way, then he votes with the Democrats. Well, that's not even anywhere close to libertarian. What the hell are you doing?
And it's really interesting. But I mean, and I really think he's an extremely smart guy. And on some things, man, I couldn't agree with him more. With the way he went after Fauci during all that stuff.
Loved it.
He's great. But at the same time, I've got a lot of criticisms when it comes to him. I've got some on Trump. So, I mean,
I don't agree with everything and sometimes the stuff that says, but he can talk off the cuff. That's great. And then there's times when it's like, stop, just stop.
Just turn the key off. Just let it roll.
It's okay for a minute. Oh, well.
We need a palate cleanser, though.
Oh, please. Yes, let's do.
Paul Harvey had a rest of the story about a talk show host that all of us know. I got to find it here. Hang on a second. Where is it? There it is. About a talk show host. See, I'm very prepared. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.
Well, I can't afford to try it anywhere else, so that's where I do it from.
We don't do this because it was easy. We do this because we thought it was easy. Anyway, this is about
we are professional amateurs.
And how he got his start. Here we go.
The rest of the story. Nick ran straight into a door. Knocked himself out cold. Nobody could revive him. 10 minutes and he was still out cold. Half an hour. Then an hour. And he remained unconscious. Now doctors have gathered around him. He's still alive. He's still breathing, they said. Just don't move him, they said. And aside from life and death, there was another profound consideration. The show must go on. In this case, a television show. Rehearsing for it, Dick had run smack into that, what was supposed to have been a breakaway door. Now he was hurt, apparently seriously, and Dick was the star. With 90 minutes to airtime, live airtime, the doctors insisted that even if Dick were to revive immediately, he must not be permitted to perform. Live television now. No option to broadcast a rerun. So either a substitute for the show's star would be found, or in an hour and a half, millions of television sets across the country would go dark. Well, somebody on the staff remembered a co-worker, sort of an office clown, a funny fellow, always cracking jokes and doing routines for the other staff members. Maybe he'd be a good last-minute fill-in. Producers shook their heads. Clowning around the office was one thing, but big-time, prime-time network television, that was quite another. But what choice had they? It was an emergency. Okay, where was this funny staffer? Home, probably. So somebody called him. Indeed, he was home. He was watching television. The young man was aghast. Do the show? In front of the cameras, he said, in front of millions of people? Don't think, he was told. Just get to the studio. So the young man jumped in his car, sped off on the 60-mile journey. He was greeted by pandemonium. What are you going to do? Executives demanded. The young man was trembling. He shrugged. "How is Dick?" he asked. Executives reported that Dick was still groggy but coming around. He'd been out for more than 2 hours. "Can't do the show, though," they said. "It's all in your hands." So, with 20 minutes to air, they got him into makeup, then shoved him out there in front of the cameras and the millions of viewers. And what do you know? The office clown did fine. Nobody knew what he was going to do, but when he did it, the studio audience and the nation laughed. There was a spontaneous, humorous lecture on the economics of television. Brilliant. Better than anybody had dared anticipate. In fact, the network decided to give the last-minute substitute his own show. And that happy ending continued for many decades. Dick, comedy's great Richard Skelton, Red Skelton, he fully recovered, of course, but the world of comedy has this one thing more for which to thank him: the subsequent career of a 28-year-old office clown whose big break eventually led him into the brightest spotlight of them all. Of course you remember Red Skelton. And you remember Red Skelton's young writer also. Now you remember him with laughter through tears, for he was Johnny Carson. Only now you know the rest of the story.
I know when that first started, I thought they were talking about Dick Cavett because he was.
I did too. That's exactly who the same thing. You know, people go, "Dick who? Who's Dick Cavett?" Never mind.
I didn't
it
know
was a
Red
daytime
Skelton.
talk show.
Yeah, that's true too. But I didn't know Red Skelton. I figured Red was a nickname, but I didn't know his name was Richard. So very interesting. As usual, Paul Harvey was just, he's still my favorite long after he's been gone. So we hope you had fun and had, laughed a little bit like we did. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble, or wherever you find podcasts.
And if it's easier for you, just put in a website and you can watch all of our stuff at stayoffmylawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
And we'll see you next week, folks.
Toodles, and thanks so much for watching. Tell a friend, and we appreciate every last one of you. Have a wonderful week.